Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience Podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what can you expect from the Mike Litton Experience? You can expect stories that will inspire, motivate, advice that will sharpen your focus, and expert information on real estate, finance, and market conditions. Mickey Severson, thank you so much for being our guest on the Mike Litton Experience. I'm super excited for our time together. And like we talked about before we hit record, everybody has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. So with your permission, we're going to start with where you were born, go all the way up to today. And we have a bunch of things you're working on that we want to talk about, okay?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So where were you born?
I was originally born in a little town called Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. It's a really nice suburb just outside of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Well, at least it was when I was there. I don't know what it started to now. Now here's the story of how I got the name Mickey. My name is Eugene Bennett.
Okay.
I was born on my father's birthday. Okay. And this is in the book. So my mother was in labor with me. Apparently they gave her some labor inducing meds, because I'm like, no, I ain't coming out. No, this place sucks. Now send me back. So she's watching the Mickey Mouse Club, high on whatever labor inducing drugs they gave her.
Yeah.
And she was watching the Mickey Mouse Club, and she asked me if I wanted to be named Mickey. Kick once for yes, kick twice for no. So I kicked once for yes. My aunt literally told me this story in the most embarrassing way possible. That's why I put it in the book in the first place.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how she was watching the Mickey Mouse Club. She asked if I wanted to be called Mickey. I said yes. And because my mother's side of the family hated my father so much, they only called me Eugene twice in my entire life, and I was in deep trouble for both instances.
Wow.
So I've been confused since I was a fetus. Really, I have.
Nothing like it. So my middle name's Eugene, by the way, just for the record.
Nice.
I was named after the guy that put my parents together.
Oh, nice.
The Cupid that introduced him.
Yeah. That works.
So,
that works.
Right. Yeah. So you were born in say the name of this
Menominee Falls, Wisconsin.
Menominee Falls.
There are a lot of Native American names up in Wisconsin, and
Gotcha.
It takes a lifetime to learn how to pronounce them. So yeah.
So I was born in Ponca City, which is named after the Ponca Indian tribe. So
yeah,
I got you right.
Yeah.
So did you grow up there?
I grew up all over Wisconsin.
Okay.
I moved around a lot because my parents were not the best parents. My father's a Vietnam vet, so he had his PTSD issues. My mother had her developmentally challenged issues. And there's a story in the book in what those Pyrex bowls?
Yeah.
Those they used to make frying pans? Yes, they did. And when I was a child, so I was kind of dumb, and my father was drunk and arguing with my mother, so I pulled out a squirt gun and said, "Dad, your attitude sucks. You need to go to AA." And he backhanded me. Mom runs into the kitchen, grabs the Pyrex frying pan, and it's got a handle like this long, so you can double clutch it. You can put both hands on it and get a good swing. And let's just say a Pyrex frying pan has a very distinct sound when you're slapping somebody in the face with it as hard as you can.
Wow.
It's like a ding. And it's got After that, he never did that again.
Wow. That was a particular pitch, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was like a ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
So growing up there, what was your favorite thing about growing up all over Wisconsin?
Really, it was a lot. There's a lot of forestry up there. My uncle, one of my uncles in the book, he took me on my first motorcycle ride.
There you go.
And he's agnostic / atheist, but he says it's against his religion to do the speed limit. And we were doing like 100 miles an hour, and it was the most insane experience of my life. He's like, "You want to go and get it?" I'm like, "Hell yes!" So yeah. That was one of my favorite moments of my life. Uh, yeah, and up where we live up there, there's a little place called Holy Hill,
Hmm.
and it's a big, huge Catholic church. You cannot miss it if you
Yeah.
tried. They've got a lot of windy roads that a lot of the bikers like to go riding around on to really have fun.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so that, and I grew up spoiled rotten because I had beer battered cod whenever I wanted it, because Fish Fry Friday in Wisconsin is just, it's a thing. It's an
Yeah.
institution. You don't not go eat fish fry. Uh, you do not do Fish Fry Friday. So I was spoiled rotten by all the cod I could ever want, because now that I'm down here in North Carolina, it's just, I mean, it's a miracle you can find anything even remotely close to beer battered cod.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow, that's
So
cool. So
yeah.
growing up, who was the most influential person to you?
Uh, it would be a tie between my grandfather on my mom's side of the family and my grandmother on my dad's side of the family.
Okay.
They were the most like, yeah, I guess in a way, my grandmother on my mom's side of the family was influential too, but for all the wrong reasons. Because let me just say it like this: in the book, I called her Doobie. She smoked. When I say she smoked a lot of weed, I know for a fact she's been smoking weed for no less than 40 years.
Wow.
Not a joke. I'd put her toe to toe with Willie, Snoop, and Cheech and Chong. I would.
Yeah.
Not a joke. Um, and she when once the it got so bad that when my sister and I would drive from my sister's place down to my aunt's place when she would host the Christmas parties, my sister would drive and I would literally get on my smartphone and get on the CIA's website and look for jobs for my grandmother, interrogation jobs. Literally. Because once that paranoid phase of the pot smoke kicked in, she was ruthless.
Wow.
I can honestly say, if I were when I was on active duty, when I was deployed, if I would have been captured and interrogated, I would not have been afraid of. I'd be like, just shoot me now and get it over with it. I mean, because she was just that. I called her the piranha,
Yeah.
because she would not stop until she's completely consumed you and driven you insane. Now, my
That's why she
grandmother
was
on my
fierce.
oh yeah, I'm telling you, every single year, whenever I go with my sister down to my aunt's place, I get on my phone and I try to find. I literally go into the CIA onto the CIA website and I find the search bar and say interrogations. She's
Wow.
that bad.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
so where'd you go to high school?
I went to a little high school called Menominee Falls High School. I
There
ended
you
up
go.
getting my GED because I moved around so much. I ended up going to altogether 13 or 14 different schools because I
Gotcha.
bounced around so much, because my parents were just not between my father's PTSD and my mother's uh developmental issues, challenges, they could not coexist together.
Gotcha.
They just couldn't. I never wrote about my sister, one of my sisters, but the way things went, my father got stabbed in the back by the caseworker who made all kinds of promises and then lied and literally ran out of the courtroom claiming she had a call to go on just so she wasn't questioned.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. The only reason I never wrote about that was because it was a favor to my sister and to my cousin.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I understand.
um,
Did you have a favorite subject in high school?
uh, I was all about shop. I didn't mind math class. I did a lot of. I was pretty good I didn't like English, but I was good at English.
Hmm.
I liked math, but I wasn't great at math.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all about shop class whenever I could get that. That was my jam. That's what I
Did you have a
enjoyed
shop
doing.
class that was your favorite?
Yeah, yeah. My shop class was my favorite. All go
Which one? Was it wood? Was it auto?
automotive,
There you go.
automotive. I mean, I liked wood class, but
Yeah.
when my grandmother's second husband, I've seen him trying to do woodworking while he was high, and it's like,
Mhm.
no, no, I never doing that. No, no, uh-uh.
So after you get your GED, where do you go?
Okay, here's the story of how I joined the Marine Corps. It involves the GED. Okay. Yo, yeah. This is where my big mouth overrode what little good judgment that I had. My sister and I were, and I still feel guilty about leaving my sister alone to
Oh,
this day.
sorry.
So We're no, my sister and I are cool. I mean, we're thick as thieves, but I love her to death, and I want to do right by her one of these days because I'm a big brother, and that's what I'm supposed to do.
Sure.
Okay, so we went to a local restaurant, a little Hardee's, and I saw some people that used to pick on me at school, and I left. I just walked away and left my sister alone. She made it back,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel good. I've always felt guilty about that. So my aunt and I are in the car with my sister in this. When I say it's a big car, okay, the equivalent to the Cadillac DeVille was the Pontiac Catalina.
Mm-hmm.
This thing was two Priuses long. Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
thing was it was a boat.
It's like a tuna boat. Yeah, it was big. Yeah.
It was a garbage scow, dude. Seriously. So I forgot that I had some of my stuff in a box in the back of her gargantuan truck that could have how that she could have stuffed an entire Marine fire team in, which is
Mm-hmm.
4 men full of gear, you know.
Right.
So we're heading towards the north side of Milwaukee. Like you need to be strapped north side of Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
and we pull off on an exit a lot earlier than what I'm used to, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So we drive into the Goodwill homeless shelter,
Mm-hmm.
and she walks in. She gets out of the car. She pops open the trunk. Get out of the car! I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm in trouble. So she says that. She grabs my bag of my stuff. We walk to the Goodwill, and she drops my box on the ground right on the floor right next to the check-in desk, and she grabs the check-in log or whatever, and she says it's either this or the military. And so my aunt's right in front of me, and there's this other guy about 20 feet that way, and he was homeless, and he had the bag with a liquor bottle. Okay. And you could smell him as well as you could see him. No
Mm-hmm.
joke. It
Yeah.
was bad. I take one look at him. I look back at my aunt and I'm saying to myself, no way in hell I'm going out like that.
Right.
So I joined the military. And when I joined the Marine Corps, she said, I figured you'd be dumb enough to pick the hardest one. So yeah, and then I was off. And in hindsight, it was one of the greatest choices I could have made because
Yeah.
it got me out of the hellhole that I was in, and
Right.
it just sent me rocketing right into adulthood, whether I liked it or not, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of
And
my
how old were you?
18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was 30 years ago now.
Wow. So you joined the Marine Corps.
Yep.
You go through basic. How long were you in the Marine Corps?
That was my first 4 years of active duty from 94 to
Okay.
98.
Okay. So you go through basic and then
Yeah.
are you deployed?
Oh, no. I didn't get deployed till when I joined the reserves. I did do what's called a med float or a med float.
Mm-hmm.
That was my liver has still not forgiven me for what I did to it on that med float. I oh, oh wow, I drank so much. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot overstrip. I can. My liver still has not forgiven me for that. So yeah,
So for people that don't know what a med float is, explain it.
it's where you're part of what's called a MU, Marine Expeditionary Unit. You
Okay.
got several boats, and we're usually on the Gator freighter, or it's an amphibious assault ship.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was on the USS Nassau, one of the last diesel boats in the entire United States Navy at the time. I guarantee you, it's nuclear now. It was a matter
Yeah.
of fact, it was going to be nuclear. It was going to be put down, or it was going to be not put into mothballs, but it's going to be taken out of circulation until they retrofitted it to where it was nuclear. It was a nuclear powered boat. But yeah,
Right.
I was in the second to last diesel boat in the entire United States Navy back at the time.
Wow. That
So
was something.
yeah, and I did when I say I did a lot of drinking. There's one story I'll just tell you right now. It's so bad. I was so drunk. I don't
Mhm.
remember anything before getting in the cab. Okay,
There
so I
you
get
go.
in the cab. What's that?
There you go.
Okay, so I get in the cab. I'm on what I thought was the driver's side.
Mhm.
So I'm sitting here, and I'm cross-eyed drunk. I mean, literally just could barely see. I've got. I'm like, okay. I'm like, where's the poop handle?
Mhm.
Or I said, no, where's the steering wheel and where's the seat belt?
Mm-hmm.
He said, the driver's like, steering wheel here, grab, oh, poop handle. And he literally makes sure he rubs his entire arm across my face to force me to look at it so I can see it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I grab it, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is Italy. One thing you got to learn about Italy, they don't act stopping at a red light. You're not actually required to stop. You only stop if there's oncoming traffic that you can't beat.
Right.
So it's more of a yield, a
Right.
fast yield, like just
Right.
basically let off the brakes. So,
Right. Or
so you
speed
got
up if you can beat them.
exactly. So you got a road going this way, right?
Yeah.
You got a weird road, a weird funky angle coming this way, and we're coming this way. We're on this road. There's a car maybe behind us. The one we got to worry about is the one coming this way.
Yeah.
So I'm in the front seat. My other two Liberty buddies were in the back seat. I got my hand on the poop handle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm holding it.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming this way. This car's coming this way. He guns it because we're coming down the hill. You come down the hill almost into a dip.
Right.
So he comes up, he turns, and when I see he turns hard. So I'm like go from this to this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm screaming, "Oh poop."
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Gravity's pulling you, yeah.
And my other two guys are literally up against the driver's side door.
Yeah.
They're literally just crammed in there.
Mm-hmm.
We missed the guy by like this much. No joke.
Wow.
Like both right side tires were bottomed all the way out. Both left side tires were basically barely touching the pavement. The miracle, as much as I had been drinking, I did not projectile vomit.
Right.
That was the miracle.
Crazy.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's absolutely more. So we get back to the boat, and he was a total jackass. So he dropped us all the way out the gate. He didn't try to drive up to the boat. We're stumbling around in the dark. We're stumbling around the dark and getting to the boat, and then you go up the ramp, right?
Yeah.
And you turn and face the back of the boat, the Union Jack, the flag on the back of the boat, and you salute it. And so both guys get up the ramp, and I stagger up the ramp. It's a miracle I didn't fall off the ramp into the water.
Right.
So I stagger up the ramp. I go like this. And then I look at the master at arms. I'm like, "Hey, man, how the F are you?" What the hell did you? Both of my guys grab me, run me back up the ramp inside the boat. We get into the berthing area. One of them literally throws me in the bed, and he says, "I love you. I love you, brother. You're great. But if you make one solitary noise, I will beat your ass."
Mm-hmm.
Woke up about 3 hours later. I'm still drunk. I was so drunk. Like, we were in formation, and I'm standing there, and I'm trying to match the rocking of the boat. And next thing I know, I've got a hand on the back of my collar, yanking me out of formation. I don't even remember him reaming my ass. I was still that drunk at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, my liver hasn't forgiven me for that. I'm just
It sounds like
right
it.
now.
Sounds like it. So you decide to get out of the Marine Corps. What makes you get out of the Marine Corps?
The Marine Infantry unit, a Marine Infantry division is like a black hole.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a cockroach, like a roach motel. You check in, but you don't check out. And I was a diesel technician, and I got supporting an infantry unit is a love-hate relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of that enlistment, there was no love left in the love-hate relationship. It was nothing but seething, white-hot rage at each other. Because,
Why is that?
The grunts, there is a professional rivalry between the grunts, the infantrymen, and the pogues. Pogue is people other than grunts.
Okay.
Which is everybody who isn't a grunt.
Mm-hmm. So that's all the support people.
Yeah. And you got the grunts, and I was a mechanic. I was a diesel technician. In the Marine Corps, it's 30. I think it's still 3521. That's the designate. MOS, military occupational specialty, is nothing more than a fancy term for a job.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That was my job. And okay, you remember the movie Dodgeball with that one with the character that was a total dick with a we're better than you and we know it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the grunts. And they let you know that they're better than you. And it's that sibling rivalry where we just crap all over each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's some love there, but there are days there's not much. But yeah, I refuse to work with grunts anymore as far as being in a Marine infantry unit. So I left the Marine Corps. I joined the Army National Guard in Tennessee while I was still married.
So
Yeah,
why did you join the Army National Guard?
because I had a lot better chance at following the career path as a diesel technician than I would have in the Marine Corps.
A what technician?
Diesel technician.
Diesel. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did that, and I had a argument with an E7, a sergeant first class, because I wasn't in the mood I dumpster dived looking for whatever he was asking me to look for, and he's like, "I need no." I'm like, "I already did this, dude." You know, I just say, "Dude." It's tempted to say, "Dude,"
Right.
and I'm like, "It's not there," and he was like, "Oh, you're gonna get in trouble." I'm like, "Dude, I'm just done. I'm done." Now, the weird thing about my battalion commander at the time in that unit was his father, he was in Wisconsin, he was a Dodge County sheriff. His father was also a Dodge County sheriff. My father's a Vietnam veteran. His father was chasing my father all over the place. And my dad liked to run from the cops because back in the day, you just get an ass whooping and you get a fine, maybe, and it was a good old boy kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
His father knew my father. He knew me. He comes to my little apartment complex that I'm at the time. And he's like, "Here's what's going to happen. Either you're going to get back in and you're going to make something of yourself, or I am going to make your life a living hell. And I'm going to screw you over 10 ways from Sunday." So I signed on the dotted line. And then a couple years later, they're like, "We want you to be infantry." And I'm like, well, let's just say I told them where to stick their suggestion that I was going to be infantry.
Is this Army National Guard that's saying this?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So then I transferred from the Army National Guard to the Army Reserves.
Okay.
That's where I got my 2 deployments in, because there's no infantry in the reserves. It's great.
Gotcha.
It's peaceful. I was in an ordnance company, but I never actually deployed with them. There's this thing called an individual augmentee, which is they can just pluck you as a body from one unit and just put you in another unit. And
So
I did that twice.
What made you leave Army National Guard and go to Army Reserve?
They told me I had to become an infantryman, and I told them.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so you weren't going to do that.
I gave them the most graphic directions on where they could stick their idea that I would become an infantryman.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah,
so you're in the Army Reserves, and you get deployed.
Yeah.
Where do they deploy you to?
Okay, the first deployment was to it was about an hour south of Mosul as the crow flies.
Okay.
It was a little village called Al Khayyara. So they called the FOB.
This is in Iraq, correct?
Yeah, this was in Iraq. This is like way up north.
Okay.
I
don't know that everybody knows what country Mosul is in, so that's why I'm asking. So
okay, so it was called FOB Q West.
Okay.
Yeah. Think all sand, no hot chicks, no ocean. Yeah.
I got you.
So yeah, the second deployment was so bad it made the first deployment seem like I was deployed to Qatar, which nobody, and I mean nobody who's been to Iraq, nobody calls Qatar or Kuwait a deployment. It's more of a vacation. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, nobody counts Kuwait or Qatar. Okay, the Air Force counts Qatar as a deployment, but nobody else does. Nobody, no. Again, it's more of a vacation. So yeah.
So how long was your first deployment to Iraq?
My first deployment was in 2005. It was only 9 months and 10 days boots on ground time.
Gotcha.
Okay. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even take leave. I can say this, and all the veterans listening to this will be like, you lie like hell. God is my witness. I got 4 passes to Qatar in 2 deployments. The first deployment I took 2 because for something just kind of told me just don't take leave, because it's kind of mentally taxing on you to come back to the war zone after you come home on leave. So I just took 2. I'm like,
you got to get back into the flow of things. And
exactly.
Yeah.
So I just took 2 4-day passes. Actually, the first pass of the first deployment for my first deployment was like 6 to 8 days long because we got stranded because of a sandstorm, and maintenance issues. It's like, so yeah, that was a really good time because it was like you could take a whole ass hot shower for more than 5 minutes long, and the food was actually edible, and you could get on. They had like the little MWR, morale, welfare, and recreation.
Mm-hmm.
That we were playing Halo, and it was I don't know if I want to share how some of the dumb things we did, but we had a damn good time.
Oh, it's all right. It's good that you had a good time. You needed to, I mean, it's there. It's cathartic. But I actually, just full disclosure, I actually volunteer for the USO out here at Camp Pendleton, and so
that's awesome.
I'm handing, one of the things I do when I work the center is I hand check video games out to the guys that come to just kind of escape, right? They're just trying to get away for a little bit. Yeah. And I'm telling you, they look younger every year. Every year.
Oh, I know.
I mean, they look like they're 12 now. When they walk in,
I know.
Call their mother and go, "Did you know that he's at
Yeah.
he's left the house." So you get back from the first deployment, and then you get deployed the second time. Where do you go the second time?
Okay, the second time this was the deployment that was so bad. Yeah. It made the first deployment look like a deployment to Qatar, which is,
I got you.
Or Kuwait, which is I started out up in Baghdad at a little place called Camp Cropper.
Okay, so you're back to Iraq.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm asking because
this was my second deployment.
Right? There's all this other stuff, so I'm just asking where you were.
Right.
Okay.
The first deployment was in 2005. The second one was in 2007, 2008. And here's if anybody ever tries to contact me on April Fool's Day and nobody can get a hold of me, my deployment orders for my second deployment, which is what the whole book is based on, really.
Right.
April Fool's Day, 2007.
Yeah.
No, you're not getting me. You're not getting me again. No, I don't leave the house. I don't turn on the phone. I don't nothing.
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out Calendly.com/Rio760.